Hey guys, it's Trent Follower this side, and today it's time to plan our week. So the agenda of today's video is we'll find some zones for this week which can be interesting point of interest POIs first. The second is we'll try to understand what can be the currencies which can act volatile. And third, we'll look into the strong and weak currencies so that we know where to focus on mainly, right? In my previous videos, I have always done these sessions. I'm trying to improve, and I have always said, and I will always continue saying, you need to know where the money is going. And how do you know that? You need to know which currencies can be volatile. And the best way to know that is to know what news is gonna happen this week, right? So the first important part for us to focus on would be to know what are the important news events happening this week, right? So what we will look into is the red folder news for this week. So it would be December 15th week, and this is the red folder news. It's a lot. It's a lot. So a lot of things gonna happen. Always give first priority to rate news. And the moment you see that, your first focus would be on the USD news on 18th, which is federal funds rate. So, what does that mean? That means that probability wise, most of the USD pairs will work after December 18th or very close to December 18th. So, like Tuesday or Wednesday, right? So, I would typically focus on that after these fund rate comes into picture. We'll see how it behaves. There are some hints here, there. You never know if that would work or not, but there are some hints. What I can also do is like go into these names and exit before, because sometimes the setup happens right on Monday. So, like last week, it was GBP odd, but that happened because odd had that news. So, you have to be mindful of that. The second important news event is JPY, which has the currency rate again, right? And the third one would be GBP, which had currency. So these three would be the top ones, right? And after that, we'll focus on other names, which, like, for example, the PMIs for Europe would be damn important. Uh, but I do believe that most of the importance will come from three things: GBP, USD, and JPY. Okay, because of the rate interest. Then there are different rate event news, but what you can really see is, barring USD, JPY, and GBP, what is what are the other news, right? So CAD CPI month over month would be damn important. Then USD core PC, we already talked about. USD would be important. Uh, PMI would be important. But that's like in order, right? So first would be still these three, then CAD, etc., etc. Okay. So the next important thing to notice is what are the strong and weak currencies. So in there, I want to focus on what we saw last week, right? Uh, so on weekly time frame, if you look at the weekly time frame, I still have these, uh, which is JPY was strong last to last week and odd was weak. JPY reversed this week. It went below that week's candle. So if you look at this currency, JPY currencies. Look at the weekly. We got that signal here. So it has still not, and that's why there is a slight chance. Can this move down? Be a manipulation, right? So I'm waiting for this week's currencies, but while it's chopping around, if there is any currency strong, there can be move there. So point being, any JPY names this week, when you go in, don't try to hold it till next week, right? So that would be JPY, and that was weekly. So on weekly odd, let's look at odd Australian dollar. It has still been weak, right? So I would still believe that it's weak. So look at odd currencies, it's still going down. This weekly candle can be a bottoming formation because this is one of those candle where the next can be green, instead of continuation. So we'll be very mindful of this. We don't have to trade according to the thought process, oh, we are gonna reverse, no point playing against the trend. But something to be mindful about. Or hasn't given any reversal signals till now. Australian dollar candles haven't. Now, what is interesting was the daily trend. Euro has started acting strong. We got the signal where Euro has started acting strong, and that's amazing. Uh, which means that Euro is almost inverse of dollar. So that's a weird signal, to be honest. So there is a hint that USD can become weak this side, but I would just let the price action show that. This one is a tough one because USD is very, very, very strong right now. I don't want to catch the top bottom. That's not my job. I just want to plan for it. So I will be mindful of that. But Euro has been acting strong. So that was the strong signal we got. GBP was the weak one. Not a very strong weak signal. Uh, s- Not a very strong signal, but but that's one that came. I would not give that importance to it right now. Maybe later in the week, depends on how it goes. What is important is CHF gave us a signal, weak signal. So that's one more. And down the line, it was JPY also, which gave the weak signal on daily last week. I would say a strong weak signal. Look at the play of words there. But that's the point, right? So let's go back to it. Okay. News-wise, most important is GBP, okay, JPY, okay, and USD. Strength-wise, out of these, JPY has been acting the weakest. Not the weakest, very weak lately. Euro has been acting strong. GBP has the news which can affect euro also. So our first priority would be in these names, right? The next would be CAD. Now, first priority, let's go with EURJPY. What I think about it is this is an amazing trade. If this reversal is legit, which I think it is, even if it reverses from here, let's say it's a fake move, it would be somewhere here. So I do think it can come somewhere here. Ideally, it should come here, right? For it to come there, you need a bounce, right? So a good demand area for me is this daily zone. Now, why is that? This is a great daily zone first. Order flow wise, we formed an order block. We bounced from here. So we are clearly holding those demand areas. So that's bullish, right? You also broke this clear supply here. So I would not be surprised to see this. Now let me show you something else, which is beautiful. According to ICD concept, this is a fair value gap, right? Right at that fair value gap, there is this order block. So this zone has too many confluences, right? Supply turn to demand. Number one, demand itself. Number two, weekly line. Number three, order flow bullish. Number four, JPY has started acting weak. Number five. So this, I believe, is a great zone. I do think it can come here. My target would be from here to let's get 2 RR, get out, right? I'm not here for the long stay. I do believe this is a great trade. That would be Euro JPY. That would be my first focus. Let's look at Euro CHF. With respect to CHF, this is the trend line that I'm looking at, Euro CHF. The second thing is I wanted to show CHF futures. With this respect, you can clearly see that we had a strong candle to downside here, which is great. If you are planning for CHF weakness, will it continue going down? I don't know. Will it bounce here or not? I don't know. What I do know, you can see this or you can see this. Now, why is this probability higher? Look at this huge, huge, huge fair value gap here. Okay. So this gap, this huge red candle, it would be very tough for CHF to break this. So I would say it should bounce, sorry, reject from somewhere here. Let's look at 12 hour if we can find something as such. I can see few things. Okay, here you go. So this is a nice 4 hour supply here, right? Which would be my focus this week. Uh, I would say it shouldn't ideally break this. So this would be the region I would really focus on. And when it comes here, the other pairs can act strong. Now, within that pair, what did I say? Which has been acting strong, Euro CHF, right? So let's look at Euro CHF. Okay. With Euro CHF, you have this trend line. You really broke. There is supply over here, but. Look at this choppiness. Look at this choppiness, right? So this is 4 hour. Let's go to daily. Look at this choppiness. So it's not clean supply, right? So I think there is a probability of pulling back and coming back here and ideally here, right here. So that's what I am thinking about. But yeah, I try to buy on pullback. So this area is what I would be concentrating on. Now you'll ask me why this area in particular, right? So if you look at Euro CHF, there's a nice 4 hour demand here, right? So when it comes here, that can be really good. Secondly, we have weekly levels, right? But keep in mind, the whole name is little bit on downtrend. So where you have to focus on the futures also. So I would like to see some price action here, and then I will take it, right? So Euro CHF is something very important. And again, why? CHF showed weakness, Euro showed strength, news, GBP has news. Trend-wise, it's debatable because we are pulling back. But we have some strong signals for upside or weakness in CHF. Will it continue till here? No, man, I don't know. Like, I don't want to predict that, but my target is if I can get an entry somewhere here, I can take it up. Ideally, the best case scenario, I don't know if it will happen or not, is this demand area here or this candle here. If you can get an entry here, that would be awesome. That matches with EURJPY that it can show weakness. Here we are targeting one candle. So I think Euro should pull back a little, and that's where your focus should be. Now let's go to USDJPY. I couldn't find a clear zone here. But why am I focusing on it? Because sometimes the zone comes into like gets formed during the week. So that's why I'm focusing on it. What my thought process is, this was a good demand before. This is a good supply here. There's a good demand here. So I'm thinking in terms of this can be a good region to buy from. Why? There is this. USD has been acting strong. JPY has had started acting weak. You go here, you go there, right? So this is what I think. If we can get an entry somewhere in this region, that can be a great risk to reward, where ideally we should test this level. So I'm thinking about somewhere here. So if I can get pullback here and go here, that would be awesome. That's USD JPY for you. Next is USD CHF, right? USD CHF again, I think all CHF pairs are showing that most probably there should be a pullback. You see, there is a gap here which got formed. So we should get some kind of pullback here. I would think that this is a good region. It would depend if it matches with the CHF futures. If not, this is my ideal area where I want to focus on something like this, something like this. This is a weekly zone, potential weekly demand that can be formed here. So that would be my primary focus. But here, I want to see the price action. If you want to scalp your way down, I think it can go down. I don't fight with the price action, and I would rather take like this move than anything else. So that would be USDCHF. Now, this would be these four are the first priority where my favorite is EURJPY. The second one is CADJPY, right? And why I say CADJPY, why am I bringing this in? You saw USD, if I can just point out the news, if I can just find out where the news part is, um, I think I'll have to, let me see. This is, yeah. If you see, CAD has this news on Monday itself where uh, Macklem speaks, but then CAD also has CPI on Tuesday, right? This is way before, if you see a whole day before USD, which is afternoon 2 p.m. So CAD news is before USD, and CAD can and USD pairs can, kind of chop before this news. So I think there would be a movement in CAD, and maybe CAD can act stronger than USD in the initial part of the week. So I think I feel like I want to be prepared for that. With respect to CAD, there's something beautiful here, right? So this is the weekly, this is the daily order block. And if you look at 12 hour, right? You saw that we have been 8 hours, sorry. So you can see there's a beautiful, 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 beautiful demand of 8 hours here. So this is what my focus would be. What I would like to see is something like this, which is on Monday, we either come here and bounce, and then on Tuesday we come here and bounce, or vice versa. On Monday we come here and bounce, and on Tuesday we come here and bounce, or like this. But basically, at least one day of holding this region. Yes, it can happen that on that day itself it bounces here. I doubt it because of this little bit of supply here. So I doubt it, but that's what I would like to see. Once I see any sign of strength in this next candle, I will pull a trigger here somewhere to take that trade. Now, let's go to our principles, right? JPY news, yes. CAD news, yes. Let's go to TV. JPY news, yes. CAD news, yes. Reversal, JPY signal, yes. Reversal signal, yes. Right? With respect to trend, we are consolidating here. You can see this trend line which I have. So I think the bounce is legit. It can go here. That's what my focus is on with CAD. I think at least I will target this region on CAD pair, CAD JPY pair. So that's why. Uh, I think this trade can work. This is one of my favorites too. The only thing you have to make sure is you have to see that on Monday is CAD acting stronger than USD. So news check, reversal signal check, and then lastly strength weakness. That's what we'll have to wait on Monday to see is CAD acting stronger than USD. And if that's checked, this can be a great trade. That's why this is Friday too. It depends, and the plan should accommodate the other probabilities, right? So this is one of the probability that I would like to focus on. The next is CADCHF. Again, the same logic. With respect to CHF, there can be a weakness, right? So what I think can happen is you have this weekly here, right? So either we come down here, but if you ask me what I would like to see, so there is a 12-hour supply here, right? It just went down. And it broke it very easily because this is a smaller candle. But in ICT terms, this can be a breaker. So what I would like to see is signs that it is holding this. So this supply, let me just change its color so it's clear. Let's change to 12 hour. Okay, this supply, then there is this demand also, 12-hour demand, right? And there's this, like, let me change the weekly level. There's this weekly level also here, right? So I think if I get a signal, let's say next green candle is clean here, then what you will see is uh I can clearly see this can be held. I am targeting this region. Make sure you get your 2 hour, two, whatever your target is, your stop loss risk management should be on point. But I think this region is good enough for it to come here. Let's go to GBPJPY. With respect to GBPJPY, I'm not able to see such a clear trade here. I think GBP has been acting weak. So if everything pulls back a little bit like one candle, I think uh it can act it can pull back here. And what I really see is, again, look at this. Why is it not able? Yeah. So this is the supply, and this here is the demand, right? Where for me, I would prefer this area. Will it come here? I don't know. So that would be my focus on GBPJPY. That's it. So let's focus on GBPCHF. I do think CHF is acting weak. So for me, I think this is the region that matters a lot. So I would like to see the next candle here. So there's this weekly level here, right? Uh, so this daily demand matches with the weekly level. This weekly candle closed above this weekly candle, previous weekly candle. So there is signs of bullishness. CHF did show uh, weakness last week, and GBP has news. So I think this can act really well. Now, there are two things here to be considered. One is we have equal level here, equal candles here. So this can act like liquidity. If there is legit strength, I can see it going up. Now, but the downside is we are in a consolidation. So will it go up? I don't know. Will it go down? I don't know, right? But probability wise, it feels like it can go up. If you see Euro CHF and GBP CHF, they both are showing signs that it can break out, because at least in Euro CHF, it's somewhere at the bottom. So the probability of going up is higher if held properly, right? So this is something that I'm thinking about. So I would rather be safe, and if I get an entry here somewhere and it holds, I would rather just target somewhere here. If I get my 2 hour, I'm not playing the whole move. If I want to play the whole move, I would rather let it go here, come back, and then take it. So that would be GBP CHF. And again, the reason is GBP has news. CHF had news last week, and CHF showed the weakness signal. So I think this can be a good trade too. This is again one of my favorites. I want to see a green candle here. I want this bearish engulfing to get negated. Thank God it didn't close below this candle. So I think there is still chance we bounce from here, and that's what I'm looking at. That would be GBP CHF. Now, with respect to the third priority, this one is, why is this even a priority? Because Australian dollar has continuously shown sign of weakness. So if there is any bounce, we can short it. And the one thing, in my opinion, which I would not say I love a lot, but something I'm looking at is this supply. Why? Because look at this. It's just about this weekly level, right? Why I don't love it a lot, because this is level on level. So if you look at this, and there was a weakness here. So I think this one, yeah. So you see all this confluence here, but then your stop loss would be very far. So that's why I'm not in love with this. If if I want, if you force me to push a trade on this, it would be this would be the level I would really love, and I will tell you why. There's a weekly supply here. So this is what my focus would be on, or USD. But again, I would like to focus it after the Fed rate, because I feel what can happen is this can bounce till here, and then something can happen. So I do see USD, the probability wise, can act weaker in the initial part of the week at least. And then maybe it does something like this, or it does something like this, but my focus would be in that move. right? So like this or like this. Give me 2 RR here and I'm happy. Why are we focusing on odd USD? Is because USD has big news or has been acting weak, and we are trying to find the supply there. The trend is clearly on the downside. So that would be my focus later part of the week. So that's third priority. Um, then the next is Euro GBP. The reason I love this is because you know how this has just been going down. So if we can get a reversal, but and I'm not saying like it's just any other day. The reason this is important is Euro just had news last week. GBP has big news this week. So now the major news is out. So any kind of movement can be legit, right? So I am focusing mainly on uh, this daily breaker, and there is a breaker here, 12-hour supply, which can act like demand, right? So this is 12 hours is this one, and 8 hour, I think, yeah, this one, right? So I would like to see it come here, right below this level, in this zone, in this potential weekly demand zone, and see how the reaction is. So this is not one of the trade where you can just blindly take it. You'll have to see price action in lower time frame. So ideally, I would like to see somewhere here, but it may never come. It may just bounce from here. So I that would be my focus on Euro GBP. And why again? Euro gave us a strong signal for strength, and GBP gave us a weak signal strong, not yeah, weak signal for weakness, but euro signal was very strong. So I think euro GBP may have, maybe this is the bottom for at least this move here. There is this, if you look at chart patterns, right, you see this chart pattern here, a falling wedge. So that's why I consider this can be a good trade also. It's a third priority because I personally wasn't able to find a supply or demand, like very clean ones. So that's why I would rather wait for some particular price action to show its hand. But it's always better to be prepared. So I think this region here can be good for a bounce. Uh, the next would be GBP USD. I think ideally this should happen uh, later in the week. Let's say USD starts acting strong. What I really like about this one is it is for a scalp. If you want to be ready for a scalp, uh, it would be this area. What I don't like is look how choppy this is, right? So again, these are the trades where it's just good to be prepared. Maybe you get some price action here where you can be like, oh, it can go down. So if you look at daily, look at the down move here, right? So I do think if it comes back here, there can be some reaction. So this is like one of the last priority ones, third priority, because everything has been weak. I would rather see some price action already and then go into it than instead of blindly trading it. Uh, then let's go to NQ, and this is the trade I really like. FOMC, Fed rate, all these can cause a lot of volatility, right? So any pullback would look really volatile. So there's this daily demand I like, but I don't see it. Uh, I don't see a confluence of weekly. So I would rather be safe uh, because of the fact that Fed rate is this week. So you see this gap here plus this daily demand. So I like something like not here but 2 RR, but I like this region for NQ. And yeah, so that's it for this week. These are my plans. Again, priority wise, I really love Euro pairs. So if I can get a pullback on Euro pairs, and ideally EURJPY is my first priority, and s- USD pairs would be later week priorities, but EURJPY would be the first one I love. CADJPY is the second one I love. Look at both of them have that confluence. With respect to CAD, be mindful that be sure that CAD has been at least in the initial part, is stronger than USD, then CADJPY can really, really work on your in your favor. So priority wise, I would give these pairs my top priority, where I think GBPCHF is also a good trade. Uh, and this one Euro CHF, but Euro CHF I would wait for a pullback. So yeah, strength weakness wise, JPY and CHF gave a weakness signal, Euro gave a strong signal. So anywhere I can find Euro versus JPY CHF price action, that would be my first priority. So yeah, those are the point of interest that I really care about this week, and I would really focus on this week. And that's it for me. Now, all I would say is be mindful, keep your risk management really on top, keep your stop losses, don't move your stop losses, and keep your trading safe. I think it would be a very volatile week with respect to because US funds rate are coming out this week, and it can cause a lot of volatility. So it's better to be safe than sorry, and that's my plan for this week. All right, that's it for me. Let me know if there's any feedback. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I will keep bringing these planning videos because I feel like always trade your plan, and this is the way to plan. All right, guys, have a good trading week.